Let me jump in because Barry had a couple of things he wanted to definitely cover with you as well. So he did want to, talk about your interest in the game of golf and the impact that Tony Martinez did have on you as a golf, as a golf person.
So Tony and I have both been, we're both past presidents of our sections. So he's Northern Texas section PGA, I'm Sun Country section PGA. And so been able to network and interact with Tony for a lot of years, going back several years at PGA meetings, PGA merchandise shows, conference calls, things of that nature. And so he's been a really good friend, and the ability to pick up the phone and just pick his brain and, has been a huge resource for me. And so as far as, he hasn't really mentored me to this point yet, but he will be now, because starting in January, I start to shadow him for 12 months in that District 12 position. But what I think is great about Tony is he's coming from probably one of the strongest, most successful sections. And I'm not, the 41 sections are amazing that we all represent. But, Northern Texas, Southern Texas are two of the stronger ones. And, he represented that. And to see someone, Martinez, leading that section. I don't know how many Latinx members have represented their sections. I don't know. That's some data I want to pull once I get in the role, but not very many. And so to watch him do that has been extremely inspiring and encouraging, and know that I'll be able to follow him, big shoes to fill, right? But to do what he's done in Texas and in New Mexico and continue that on. But he's been a great friend, great resource, and I'm going to pick his brain like you can't believe for the next 12 months.
That's so funny. Well, I'm sure that'll be super helpful for you. So, what would you say specifically, as we're talking about diversity, what are some of those specific things that you think we can do and that can be done in the arena of golf to make it, more inclusive? Anything specific?
Well, so first thing, when you turn on the TV now and watch golf, you're starting to see it's evolved, and for all the right reasons, and so glad to see it, right? Yeah. But on the operations side and the PGA of America, which is doing amazing things to continue that involvement and more access, I think that when you look at the numbers, the raw data, I think it's still so much room for improvement. We need more people of color, people from diverse backgrounds, and please make sure you flout my language. Make sure I'm not using I'm always careful with my terminology, but and more women. It's just, there's so much room for employment. And so the PGA Works program that I don't know Rachel, I haven't met her yet, but Rachel, who you've discussed, is very involved with that. Sandy Cross, Charles Dillahunt, all of those folks that at the PGA that are involved in these things. They're doing all the right things to continue that. And will we see it where it needs to be in our lifetime? I hope so, but these things take time. And so I hope to have an impact and a hand in making sure that golf looks like America. Because again, I'm being repetitive. You know what America looks like now, and I'm so proud of it.
I know.
I want golf to be, and the PGA again is just doing all the right things to make sure that happens.
Yeah, it's exciting times, I think, seeing a government being built out that's going to have a variety of, people in it that look like America does. And I think same for golf. I think, when you see it at the top level, that's one thing, but once it starts to trickle down and it becomes in every aspect, I can't even explain it properly, but, in all the professions that it takes to support golf, right? Everything.
Right.
That's what you really want to see from the top down all the way through. So I
completely agree. And it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. You're there in a perfect time. So
I hope so. I hope I can have an impact.
Well, what do you think you could do that would make a difference for Latinos as you're talking to younger kids or younger people wanting to get into the sport or even just wanting to pick up golf, maybe not even pro, but what do you think can help?
I think that when you're out and about, whether you be in travel or at your facility, not getting out and talking to people face to face, taking the moment to spend a few minutes with people that you have no idea what their interests are going to be. And one of our past presidents, Alan Ranowski, spent about 5 minutes with me. I've told this story before at Reynolds Plantation, and it's been several years. I hadn't been involved yet. And I picked his brain and I said, Alan, what would you recommend for someone like me that's going through the program and wanting to get involved? And he says, run for secretary of your section, and then you'll be vice president, president, and who knows from there. He goes, just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. And you'll never regret being involved in. And more so than the wisdom he imparted was the 5 minutes he spent with me. And I think that, as minority professionals, and most of them are probably doing this within their operations, wherever they're at, when they're applying, is spend time with people that might be on the fence. Do I want to play golf? Do I want to be a golf pro? Do I want to, what do I want to do? Give them your 5 minutes of your time and share your wisdom, share some guidance with these kids. And because I think that it doesn't happen. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are doing that, outside of our profession, whether it be in politics or, it's so important to recognize people that look like you, that want to be you, and let them know that it can be done. And sharing my little story here, turned into a long story, is I think that there's a lot of avenues to get to where you want to be within that profession. And it's so important to spend time with people.
Yeah, I agree. Those 5 minutes that you talk about are huge. People don't realize the value of somebody who they look up to, and that you might not even realize they look up to you or what you've done. Right. That means a lot to them, right? We take it for granted sometimes that those few sentences that you can give somebody advice about are super meaningful.
I make it, and I'm sure a lot of golf professionals I make it a habit when we see kids in our golf shop, if I happen to be out in the pro shop or in the restaurant, is to take a couple of minutes, talk to them, give them a sleeve of golf balls, or buy them a hot dog and a bag of chips, or, hey, who are you playing with? Did you beat your dad? Did you beat your mom today? Or to these young girls and boys that are playing golf. It's so important, and their eyes light up, and they don't know me from Adam, but it's someone taking the moment to visit with them and thank them for being here, and letting them know that, hey, we got golf instruction here. We have junior programs. We have all these things going on that could really, really kind of, bring them in to a game for life. So
that's awesome. That's great. So I'm going to flip the conversation just a little bit because we did talk about it earlier. Right now with COVID happening, and in particular in the area you're in, how is that impacting, the business there and people in general? What's going on?
So, this no one's been exempt from COVID. This has impacted everybody. And so, some are thriving in it, some are struggling. Golf, I think, is safe an activity that you can partake in, or participate in, I should say, during COVID. It's outdoors. It's spaced out. Mm-hmm. I think there's not a whole lot for people to do right now with, like our state's got, had several mandates in place, the dining, the movie theaters, a lot. It's outdoors, skiing, golf, hiking are some of the things that I think people feel safe doing, and golf is doing that. And so while we've been, we were shut down for about 4 weeks here in New Mexico, and then we finally got reopened. We are doing our very best to make sure that people already feel safe coming out here really realize that when they get here. So we're encouraging people to ride, or actually we're mandating people single rider carts. Even if you come from the safe household, everybody gets their own golf cart. Wear your masks throughout the day. We have sanitizing stations throughout. A lot of protocols that golf operators can relate to is, we're not allowing people to touch the flag sticks. The ball washers have been removed from the golf course. Water jugs that used to be everybody could get water on the golf course, those things have all been removed. So even though we're outdoors and everybody's socially distanced, we're just really making sure that everything we're doing reinforces the feeling of safety people have when they're out here, and just extending a fun, relaxing experience is still the priority, but making sure that our guests and our employees internally are safe. Those protocols internally are even, tenfold times what I just told you. We're making sure that we've got the wellness shields all over the place for employees, so they're separated when they're checking guests in. They're not, they're not touching the same, pens and things of that nature. So just doing everything we can to make sure that people stay safe and enjoy it at the same time, because there's not a whole lot to do out there right now.
I know. And for you, at least, I don't know weather-wise what it gets to there, but here in New York, it's cold. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, we've been lucky. We've had a lot of sunny days in a row, which is surprising. I'm going to knock on wood because we actually never get this kind of beautiful, at least sunshine look. It's still cold when you go outside, but
Right. Well, I love New York. Been a few times or a couple times, and it's just what a place. What a place. I hope I can go back someday. It's just right now it doesn't make sense to travel, but yeah. So we're at a mile-high elevation, just like Denver, but it's not as severe as Denver weather. So we've had a couple snowstorms this year already, but snow's usually gone a couple of days. So we're open year round, and which
that's
will.
great.
I imagine we'll have a busy winter. We spread out tea times. They're not every 10 minutes now. They're every 12 minutes, and limited daylight and things of that nature. So, but I think people are going to still, even in the colder weather, like, what are we going to do?
They're going to bundle up and go out.
Go hiking, things of that nature. So, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's good. That's nice that there's something for people to do. It's another activity for them to be doing, because yes, it's hard to be within four walls 24/7.
Oh, it's so hard. It's really tough. Yeah.
Oh. So do you have family as well? Are you
Yeah, the most important thing in my life, I'll tell you about. So I'm going to tell you, my wife, Carolyn, we met. She was a senior. So let's see. I'm going to go all over the place here. So we both attended Menaul High School, which was a Presbyterian affiliated is a Presbyterian affiliated high school, private school here in Albuquerque. And we met. She graduated in '85. I graduated in '88. So she was a senior when I was a freshman. And
this is going to get good.
It's going to get really good. So I'm going to tell you, and I was fully aware of who she was my freshman year. She was a senior. She played volleyball. Was one of the the cool kids, and
she was one of them.
But I was like, she's a senior, and I have no chance, right?
Wow.
But we reconnected a number of years later. Because she was in the development office at the Menaul School. She went back to work there in the development office, fundraising and alumni relations. And now she's an enrollment manager for University of New Mexico. We connected when she was at Menaul, and just another fateful deal. Nice. Where I have two children, stepchildren, Danielle and Joey, who were kids from before, but they're my kids now.
Of course.
And I love them to death. And just her and those two children, what a blessing. And so we reconnected 98, got married in 2001. And
wow.
My daughter Danielle has 3 beautiful grandchildren. So
wow.
Danielle, so Danielle's my daughter. Catalina is my granddaughter, and then Trey and Ovani are my 2 grandsons. And just another amazing blessing.
Awesome. So good to have family too. Just amazing, especially right now to have that with you. So
and I've got 2 brothers with their kids here and their wives, and my mom is still alive here in town. And she doesn't have her total 11 siblings anymore. There's 9 of them still, and
that's a lot. That's still a large family at this point, right? Wow, they're healthy.
9 sisters and 2 brothers in her family. So
wow,
cousins and just deep roots, but. That Menaul school that we all attended, there's 4 generations on our side that went to that school. And my wife has 4 generations also that attended that school. So it just kind of.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Where you're located, as you grew up as a Latino, actually, did you feel any different, or were you surrounded very much with people who looked like you as you were growing up? I don't know what it would be like in your scenario necessarily. So I'm curious.
So, just a lot of people that look like me and that I look like in our area, but not pretty diverse population in Albuquerque, but a lot of Latinx growing up. And so, yeah, very comfortable in the environment here. And when I started traveling a lot in my career, it was less diverse in terms of Latinx, where I was going to some of these PGA meetings, things of that nature. But yep.
Where you grew up, it was very much still diverse.
Very diverse. A lot of, my mom spoke Spanish as a first language, learned English as a second language. My dad was bilingual. I'm somewhat bilingual. I need to bring it back.
Yeah, I do not speak I can chop up a few sentences if I have to, but I will chop them up.
Yeah.
You know, and I wish I would have learned it. My parents spoke it fluently when we growing
Right.
up, but in Ohio, again, I was surrounded by not a lot of Latinos. So it was very much like, I don't want to be different. I don't want to stick out. So we didn't want to learn it, you know? And when I came to New York, I was like, wow, I really screwed that one up. So
Yeah, I occasionally have to use it here at work, and I'm a little embarrassed that I don't speak it better. I'm not more fluent, and I'm 51, and it's not too late. I should probably
yeah.
get back out there and
Yeah,
brush it.
you're like me as well. So similar situation. I'm 50. So you know, I wish I would have learned it, and I feel like I could have done more here in New York because I come into contact with so many people just trying to do it. But it's, and I shouldn't feel that way. I'm older, but it's intimidating to try and speak it around people who know it fluently. You know, you're like,
It's intimidating, right? And it shouldn't be, but it is, and it's
yeah,
yeah, my own fault. I early on I blame my parents for not teaching us, and I went through all the in high school and college. I took all the classes, but my own fault. So
yeah, I know. Well, maybe we'll figure it out. So who knows? Awesome. Well, it was so nice to meet you, Derek. I was looking forward to this all week, actually, because I was like, this will be a fun Friday thing to do with you.
I
So
love that. It was a great way to finish my week. I'm gonna
totally, right? Congratulations on this new role.